Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into something maybe a bit uncomfortable, but really important. We're looking at all that stuff that happens in your day-to-day life, you know, your moods, how you react to things, even little physical aches and pains.
Right, the raw data of just being alive.
Exactly. And the big question we're asking is, are you actually paying attention to it? Or are you maybe, like a lot of us, just letting that valuable information slip away,
right,
wasting it, essentially?
We're exploring this idea, the source is called the art of self-reflection. It's really about that shift from just getting older, collecting years, to actively, consciously growing up.
That distinction is key, isn't it? Aging versus growing.
It really is. It's the heart of the matter. The sources we looked at use this really powerful image. Think of your life right now as this huge, raw block of granite.
Okay. Big, unshaped potential.
Exactly. And you have the tools you need, your attention, how you spend your time, your conscience even. But what do most people do? They just leave that slab sitting there, untouched, ignored.
So today, we want to show you how paying attention to those small, everyday moments, those little bits of data, can actually start to carve that block, turn potential into something real, something purposeful.
Yeah, how that introspection helps you sculpt your life.
And we're going to do this by following the story of one person. Let's call him Ann. He's 32.
Yeah.
And he's kind of a perfect example of feeling stuck in modern life.
Yeah, the sources describe him as being, well, not old, but definitely not feeling young anymore either.
Yeah.
He's hit that point of professional stability.
Looks good on paper, right?
Totally. Steady job in media, mortgages under control, decent social life. He's ticked the boxes society tells us means success by your early 30s.
Yeah.
He's safe, comfortable.
But safe isn't the same as, well, alive, is it?
Yeah.
And that's where the problem starts for him. Inside, even with all that external stuff sorted, he feels like that granite slab you mentioned.
Formless, uncarved.
Yeah.
Like he's waiting for his real life to begin, but he hasn't actually started it. He's unconscious of what he could be.
And he's stuck in this pattern. The material calls it the perfect loop.
That's right. It's that cycle. Wake up at 7 a.m., kind of autopilot through the workday, have dinner, then just mindless scrolling on the phone until your eyes glaze over, crash, repeat.
Sounds familiar.
It's the enemy of reflection, that loop.
Yeah.
And the consequence is pretty stark. He's definitely getting older, seeing a few gray hairs, maybe some lines around the eyes, but he's not gaining any real maturity, no depth.
It's like a tree getting taller but not growing any branches.
That's a great way to put it. No fruit, no shade. Just vertical accumulation. He's going in circles, but the circle is comfortable, so he doesn't even see that he desperately needs a way out.
That's the scary part, really. Comfort masking stagnation. So our deep dive today is all about tracing how Ann starts to break free. And it begins with something surprisingly simple. Finding that first little crack in the granite. When people feel stuck like Ann, they often think they need to read heavy philosophy books or map out some grand 5-year plan.
Right. Go big or go home.
But Ann didn't start there. His journey, interestingly, began with something way more basic. Just looking at himself in the bathroom mirror one Monday morning. The most visible data he had.
Yeah, the sources flag this as the fateful Monday morning. He's standing there, and the evidence of, let's be honest, self-neglect is staring back at him. Dark circles under his eyes.
From staying up till 3 a.m. binge-watching something, right?
Exactly. And this angry red pimple, his body was basically flashing warning lights. System check required.
And his first thought, this is classic. Men don't worry about stuff like this. Trivial.
Total dismissal. It's that ingrained idea, isn't it? He just washes his face quickly, completely ignores the signal flare his body just sent up, and walks out the door. He actively throws away that piece of data.
That dismissal is so important. He's basically filed physical self-awareness under vanity. Not important.
Right. Self-care is frivolous, maybe. Definitely not the foundation for anything deeper, like mental or spiritual growth.
Yeah.
He literally washes the evidence of imbalance down the drain.
So what shakes him out of that? It wasn't a lightning bolt moment. It was just overhearing a conversation at lunch. His colleague, Lynn,
she was talking about doing a detox because her skin felt dull.
Yeah.
And she just casually drops this phrase, the art of looking in the mirror.
And that phrase just clicks for Ann.
It does, because for him, maybe like for a lot of guys who weren't raised to pay attention to this stuff, the mirror was just functional. Check your hair, make sure your shirt's not inside out.
Yeah, basic utility.
But Lynn's comment opened up this totally different perspective.
Yeah.
The mirror as a diagnostic tool. It wasn't about looking good. It was about, the sources call it chun diagnosis.
Yeah.
Like a doctor assessing symptoms.
Okay, let's unpack that. Diagnosis in the mirror. How does that work? How did Lynn and then on start seeing these physical things as actual data?
Think of it like getting feedback from a system.
Hmm.
You see dark circles.
Hmm.
That's not random. That's a direct message.
Mm-hmm.
You need more sleep or maybe better nutrition.
Oh.
Skin keeps looking dull or breaking out. That's potentially a warning from your liver or your digestive system saying, hey, whatever you put in me recently isn't working.
So Lynn's approach was see the symptom, figure out the cause, then actually do something.
Precisely. Observe the issue, dull skin. Trace the cause, maybe too much processed food, not enough water. Implement the solution. Eat more greens, drink more water, get to bed earlier. She was using the mirror like a daily dashboard to track her habits and their effects.
Wow. That completely reframes self-care. It's not about vanity for others. It's about reading your own body's signals, running your own maintenance checks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And suddenly realized he'd been ignoring these daily system reports for years. He was hoping for some big life change while completely neglecting the basics of the machine he lived in.
Yeah, you can't expect peak performance if you ignore the engine warnings.
And here's the critical link they make in the material. This is the aha moment.
Yeah.
If Annie or, if you listening can't even recognize a simple visible imbalance like a pimple on your face.
How on earth are you going to notice the bigger hidden pimples, the flaws in your character, the wrong turns in your life path?
Exactly. Physical self-care, just paying attention to your body, becomes the first serious step towards deeper growth. Why? Because it proves you can be self-aware. You can listen to signals, even subtle ones.
It builds the muscle of introspection.
Precisely. It sets the precedent. You have to get familiar with your body's data before you can even hope to start analyzing the data of your soul, your mind, your interactions. The physical mirror is the gateway drug to the internal one.
Okay, so Anne starts paying attention to the physical signals. That's step one. But the next crack in the granite, that's deeper. More painful, maybe?
Definitely more painful. Because now the focus shifts from the body to something much harder to see. A flaw in his personality, his character. The sources call this finding the rude pimple.
The rude pimple. Okay, I'm intrigued. What happened?
It happened during a family gathering. His younger cousin, Min, he's a university student, comes up to Anne. And the description is key here. Min is full of this genuine, almost bubbling excitement.
Okay, like a kid with a new discovery.
Exactly that. He wants to share something he just learned about stock market analysis, technical stuff, Japanese candlesticks. He's just discovered it, and he's eager to share it with his older, presumably wiser cousin.
Right. It's a moment for connection, maybe a little mentoring.
It should have been. But An's ego just hijacks the moment instantly. The source material says he adopted this attitude of Ki Bei Tren, the superior one, the expert looking down.
Oh, no.
Yeah. He cuts Min off mid-sentence, doesn't even let him finish sharing his excitement.
And what does he say? Something dismissive.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, that's old news, little brother. Candlesticks alone aren't enough. You have to combine them with RSI and Yankee D, and then he just launches into this unsolicited lecture, showing off everything he knows.
Ugh. He basically stole the stage.
Completely. He fulfilled his own need, probably an insecure one to look smart, to feel superior. But in doing that, he failed the most basic test of connecting with someone. Just acknowledging their joy, their moment of discovery.
He turned Min's moment into his own performance.
Yep. And the immediate result. He sees Min's face just fall. That initial eagerness drains away, replaced by disappointment. Min just kind of quietly backs off.
The words Anne spoke probably vanished, but that image of Min's face.
That's the data point. Anne couldn't ignore this time. It wasn't about a pimple he could wash away. This was social, emotional data.
So what happened later? Did it stick with him?
Oh, it did. Later that night, he couldn't sleep. That image of his cousin's deflated expression just kept replaying in his mind. And that feeling, the discomfort, the guilt, the restlessness that was the free, high-fidelity data his conscience was feeding him.
A warning sign that something in his character was actually hurting people, damaging his relationships.
And crucially, for the first time with something like this, he didn't blame the other person. He didn't think, oh, man's too sensitive, or I was just trying to help him.
He owned it.
He owned it. He admitted to himself, I was rude. That was tactless. He pinpointed the flaw. This almost compulsive need to show off, to dominate the conversation instead of just listening. That's the bump in his soul. And admitting it, truly admitting it, is the difficult core of self-reflection.
Okay, so he identified the rude pimple. What now? This leads to the idea of wasting data, right?
Exactly. He realized he had this incredibly valuable data, that sharp feeling of shame and guilt. And he had a clear choice. Option 1, the usual path.
Just let it fade. Shrug it off.
Yep. Assume it was a one-off, maybe feel bad for 5 minutes, then completely forget about it, and inevitably repeat the exact same behavior next week at work or with a friend. That's wasting data.
Okay. And option 2.
Option 2, treat that guilt not as an annoyance, but as serious, actionable feedback. Treat it like a critical system error that requires an immediate fix.
And he chose option 2.
He did. He made a conscious commitment. It was specific. From now on, when someone comes to him excited to share something, his first reaction must be to listen, to actually hear them out, share their joy, celebrate their enthusiasm.
Not immediately jump in with his own expertise.
Exactly. Don't hijack the spotlight. Just be present for their moment.
What I really like about this is the goal wasn't like become a perfect listener overnight.
Not at all.
The goal was simpler. Just don't repeat that specific mistake. Stopping the negative behavior was the win.
And the sources frame that as a massive success. It's growth through subtraction. You're actively carving away a piece of that granite slab, that compulsive need to dominate that was blocking real connection.
So maybe a question for everyone listening. Think about the last time you felt that little twinge of guilt or awkwardness after talking to someone. Did you brush it off?
Or did you sit with it? Did you analyze why you felt that way? Because if you ignore that feeling, you're literally throwing away free intel about your own flaws. You're choosing to stay stuck in that loop, circling around the same unconscious habits.
All right, so Anne's making progress. He's looking in the physical mirror. He's catching himself being rude. He's starting to pay attention. So he decides to get more structured, sets aside time, gets out a notebook, phone off.
Yeah.
Sunday night reflection time.
Yeah, he's trying to formalize the process now.
But then he hits this huge wall. He asks himself those big classic questions. What's my passion? What do I really like doing? And the answer that comes back is
nothing. Silence. Just this feeling of, as the sources put it, of vast emptiness.
Oof. That sounds discouraging.
It is, and it's incredibly common, especially for people who've been running on autopilot for years, maybe stuck in that comfortable loop we talked about, and realize he genuinely didn't know himself anymore.
He'd been living transactionally.
Totally. Working just for the paycheck, socializing because he felt he should, watching movies or scrolling because it was habit, not because he actually enjoyed it. That feeling of, I don't know what I like, isn't really a question needing an answer. It's a symptom.
A symptom of what?
A symptom of disconnection. He and his true self, his inner core, had basically become strangers. They hadn't had a real conversation in years because the noise of the routine drowned everything out.
So asking those big questions in a void, it doesn't work if you haven't created the right conditions first.
Exactly. You need silence, you need space, and learn that genuine thinking, true self-discovery, requires a dedicated, quality space, completely free from distractions.
Okay, so what did he do? How did he create this space?
This was a really smart, practical move. He understood he had to eliminate all potential escape routes for his attention. So he implemented what the sources call the golden rules for reflection.
Golden rules. I like it. What are they?
Rule 1, leave all electronic devices behind. Phone, laptop, smartwatch, everything. Leave them at home or locked in the car.
Not just silenced. Physically removed.
Physically removed. That's crucial. Even if it's off, the mere presence of your phone is like this constant little mental tug, offering an easy out if the thinking gets hard or boring. It prevents that really deep concentration you need.
Okay, no tech. Rule 2.
Rule 2, find a quiet place. A park bench, a library corner, even just a different room in his house where he wouldn't be disturbed.
And rule 3?
Rule 3, only tools allowed are a notebook and a pen. Nothing else. Just you, your thoughts, and a way to capture them.
It sounds almost monastic, creating a sanctuary for thought.
That's essentially what it is. Because your true inner voice, the subtle one that knows what you actually like, it can't compete with the loud, demanding ping of a notification or the lure of infinite scroll. It needs quiet to be heard.
Okay, so he creates the space. He's sitting there, notebook open. Now what? He still has those big, scary questions.
Right, and here's the next breakthrough. He realized those huge questions, what's my purpose, what's my passion, were too intimidating, they were causing paralysis. So he changed the question. He went small, really small.
What did he ask instead?
He asked himself, just looking back over the past month, what single moment, even a tiny one, made me feel genuinely happy or satisfied or just good?
That feels much more manageable, less pressure.
Way less pressure, but it still requires patience. Your mind doesn't just instantly serve up a highlight reel. He had to sit there, quietly sift through recent memories, almost like panning for gold, waiting for the little glints to appear.
And did they? Did he find anything?
He did. And the things he found were, on the surface, quite ordinary, but they were honest. They were his.
Like what kind of moments?
Well, he wrote down 3 specific things. First, that feeling of being completely wiped out, sweaty, but totally refreshed after a really intense game of badminton.
Okay, physical exhaustion. Got it.
Second, the simple warm feeling he got, seeing his mother genuinely smile when he dropped by for a surprise visit midweek. Just connection.
Real connection.
And third, kind of unexpectedly, the quiet satisfaction he felt after he managed to fix an old broken fan that had been sitting in storage, using his hands, solving a tangible problem.
Badminton, visiting his mom, fixing a fan. Doesn't sound like a grand life purpose yet.
Not individually, no, but together. This is where connecting the dots happens. These aren't just random happy moments. They are data points revealing his core tendency.
How so? Let's break that down.
Okay, the badminton. It's not just about exercise. It points to a deep need for movement, for vigorous physical activity, maybe even a bit of competition. Something his desk job wasn't giving him at all.
Right. The mom visit.
That shows a desire for authentic connection. Not superficial socializing, but genuine warmth and giving joy to someone he cares about. It's about contribution, not just receiving.
And the fan. That seems like the odd one out.
But it's crucial. It reveals a satisfaction in tangible completion, taking something broken, using his hands and mind to figure it out, and making it work again. A closed-loop problem with a clear result, which is often missing in, say, media work, which can feel abstract.
Ah, I see. So his passion wasn't some single shiny object out there. It was woven into these simple, recurring themes: movement, connection, completion.
Exactly. He stopped looking for the answer in a self-help book or a career quiz. He started compiling his own unique data set of moments that made him feel authentically alive.
The path was there all along, just scattered.
Hidden in plain sight. He just needed to create the quiet space, ask the right small question, and patiently gather his own data. Connecting those dots started to form the real outline of his purpose, built from the ground up from his actual lived experience.
Okay, so Anne's finding his rhythm. He's reflecting. He's identifying these small joys like badminton. He's starting to connect the dots. Seems like he's finally getting some momentum.
He is. He's starting to feel like he's actually sculpting, not just sitting there.
But life, as it tends to do, has other plans. Just as things are looking up, bam, an obstacle, and it's a big one for him.
Yeah, the sources call this the trotre, the irony, the cruel twist of fate, which paradoxically often turns out to be the best teacher.
What happened?
He's playing badminton, really getting into it, goes for a difficult shot, and badly sprains his ankle. Doctor's orders. No strenuous exercise for at least a month.
Oh, man. The one thing he'd rediscovered that brought him real joy, and it's immediately taken away.
Exactly. And this is where adversity becomes a magnifying glass for clarity. Losing that one activity he genuinely loved becomes a real ordeal for him.
How did he react initially? Did he handle it well?
Not at all.
Oh.
The first reaction was a total relapse. He became irritable, grumpy, negative about everything. And worse, he slid right back into his old default pattern.
Mindless phone scrolling. Back into the loop.
Straight back. The comfortable numbness. It was like the uncarved granite slab was trying to pull him back down, saying, see, trying doesn't work. Just stay here.
That's discouraging. How did he break out of that?
Out of sheer boredom, honestly, and this deep sense of longing, he did something small but incredibly significant. He grabbed his crutches and just went to the badminton court. Not to play, obviously, but just to sit on the sidelines and watch other people play.
Okay, so he's observing. What happens then?
What happens inside him is the crucial data point here. As he sits there, watching the game, hearing the squeak of shoes, the thwack of the shuttlecock, the laughter, he feels this intense wave of emotion.
Like jealousy, frustration.
More than that, it was longing. Real nostalgia for the movement, for the feeling of playing. The sources say it felt like flesh and blood, like a part of him was missing. It was painful, visceral.
Wow. So the loss made the value crystal clear.
Absolutely. This is the moment the injury stops being just bad luck and turns into a golden opportunity, as the material puts it. He'd enjoyed badminton before, sure, but he never fully appreciated the depth of his connection to it until it was physically impossible.
He had to lose it to truly know how much it meant.
Exactly. That forced stillness, being stuck on the sidelines, made him confront the intensity of that longing. We often just don't realize how much something matters until it's gone. That ache, that painful desire to be out there, that intensity is one of the most powerful signals you can get about what truly drives you.
So it wasn't just a hobby he missed, it was deeper.
It felt like a compulsion, a fundamental need. The injury stopped his physical action, but it ignited this profound internal realization about its importance to him.
Okay, so how does he put this together? He knows he's skilled in media and communication from his job. And now he has this undeniable, almost painful love for sports and movement confirmed by the injury.
He starts connecting those dots. He realizes, wait a minute, I don't have to choose between my job skills and this passion. I don't need to become a pro athlete. The real path is finding a way to merge them.
Integration.
Yes. And suddenly the ideas start flowing. Maybe he could create online content about grassroots sports, the kind he plays. Or what about starting that YouTube channel he'd vaguely thought about? Re-entry diary? Tracking his recovery? Maybe giving safe exercise tips for people stuck at desks like him?
Or even shift his career track.
Potentially. Thinking about maybe moving it to sports marketing or communications for a sports organization. The specific path isn't totally clear yet, but the direction is suddenly sharp and undeniable.
So the setback, the sprained ankle, actually ended up giving him more clarity than months of just playing.
Paradoxically, yes. That forced confrontation with loss, with the pain of deprivation, cut through all the noise. It showed him what was non-negotiable. This integration of his skills and his passion, sparked by something negative, felt like a far bigger win than any promotion he might have gotten by just staying in the old loop. He finally had a clearer vision of the statue hidden inside that granite.
So, and eventually heals up, gets back on the badminton court. But something's different now, right?
Oh, completely different. He's playing with this deep sense of awareness, of gratitude almost. He doesn't see the sprained ankle as just bad luck anymore. It was a harsh teacher, but a really effective one.
And he didn't have to, quit his job and become a badminton coach.
Not at all. He's still got his media job, but he started that small side project, the Re-entry Diary, on YouTube. And that act of creation, aligning his skills with his passion, even in a small way, gives him this incredible sense of purpose, of actually living, not just existing. It's more valuable to him now than climbing the corporate ladder.
He's moved from being the passive granite slab to being the active sculptor.
That's the core transformation. He's conscious now. He sees his life not as something happening to him, but as this ongoing work of art. He accepts the flaws in the material, his own imperfections, setbacks, limits, but he feels empowered.
Yeah.
He knows where he wants to chip away, where to refine, where to polish.
Okay, this is great for Anne, but let's bring it back to the listener. How can we start applying this art of self-reflection, this sculptor mindset, today? Can we boil Anne's journey down into practical steps?
Absolutely. And the key thing to remember, echoing Anne's journey, is that these are micro actions. You're not trying to dynamite the granite block. You're just starting to chip away consistently.
Okay, step one seems to be going back to the beginning. Start with the physical mirror.
Yes. Reconnect with your physical self first. And the sources are really specific here. Don't just glance. Dedicate 120 seconds, 2 minutes, morning and night. And your goal is to read your body, not judge it.
Read it how?
Ask it questions. What is this tiredness telling me? What's this tension in my neck about? Why does my skin look like this today? Look for the signals. If you see dark circles, the action isn't just concealer.
It's data.
It's data. It's a sleep debt notification. The actionable item is, okay, I need to adjust my evening routine tonight. It's about creating that immediate feedback loop between body signal and behavioral response. It's the easiest, lowest resistance way to start rebuilding that connection with yourself.
Got it. Physical check-in, 120 seconds twice a day. What's next? Step two.
Step two, schedule a date with self. This is non-negotiable. You have to carve out that sacred, quiet time and discovered was so crucial.
How often? How long?
Weekly is essential. Treat it like an important appointment you wouldn't cancel. Even 15-30 minutes is enough to start. But, and this is critical, you must follow Anne's golden rules.
Remind us.
No electronics. 0. Find a genuinely quiet space where you won't be interrupted. And bring only a physical notebook and pen.
Why is the no electronics rule so absolute?
Because you have to eliminate the escape hatch. You need to force your mind to actually sit with itself, to access those deeper thoughts and memories without the constant temptation of a digital distraction. That's how you get past the surface noise and allow the real insights to bubble up.
Okay, dedicated quiet time, no tech, notebook and pen. Step 3.
Step 3. Ask quality questions. Remember how Anne got stuck in the big, paralyzing questions? We avoid those, especially at first. Instead, we focus on specific data retrieval from our recent experience.
What kind of question?
During your date with self, focus on maybe 3 core areas. First, looking back at this past week, What moments, even tiny ones, genuinely energized me or made me feel good? Get specific. The taste of coffee, finishing a task, a nice conversation, write them down.
Okay, collecting positive data points.
Second, what action, interaction, or even internal impulse made me feel off, uncomfortable, or just wrong this week? Hunt for your own rude pimple moment. When did your ego trip you up? When did you feel that twinge of guilt or regret? Be honest.
Acknowledging the negative data points.
And third, synthesizing. Based on those good moments and those off moments, what is one small, concrete thing I could change or try differently in the next 7 days? Just one.
Which leads perfectly into the final step. Step 4, micro action. Actually doing something.
Yes, sculpting bit by bit. This is where the chisel meets the stone. Don't try to fix everything at once. That leads to overwhelm and quitting. Pick just one thing.
Like what? Give us examples.
Based on your reflection, choose one negative behavior pattern to consciously stop. Maybe, like on it, it's interrupting people. Maybe it's checking your phone first thing in the morning. Just pick one thing to eliminate. And if you can, pick one positive action to consciously start. Maybe it's that 10-minute walk after dinner. Maybe it's spending 5 minutes tidying your desk before logging off work.
So, one thing to stop, one thing to start. Keep it small.
Keep it ridiculously small if necessary, because the sources emphasize this. Successfully eliminating one ingrained bad habit, carving away just one chunk of unwanted stone, is a huge victory. It proves you're regaining control over your own autopilot. It builds momentum. That's the power of subtraction in this process.
So we started this deep dive looking at Anna's as basically a 32-year-old block of potential. A granite slab just being carried along by the current of his comfortable routine. Feeling stuck, but not knowing why or how to change.
They're passive, unconscious.
And we leave him transformed, not perfect, not finished, but actively engaged in the process. He's become the sculptor of his own life. He's using everything, his physical feedback, his social mistakes, his small joys, even his injuries as guidance, as the map for carving.
And what's really hopeful, I think, is that the big breakthroughs often came from unexpected places. Life's most valuable lessons rarely show up when it's convenient, right? They often come disguised as annoying setbacks, like that sprained ankle.
Or as really uncomfortable feelings like the guilt he felt after being rude to his cousin.
Exactly. Those moments of friction, of discomfort, they aren't just problems to be avoided. They're signals, they're directions, if you're willing to listen. Ultimately, the source material suggests the best sculptor for your life. Well, it has to be you.
And the tools you need, the hammer and chisel, they aren't some secret knowledge or expensive course. They're already in your hands.
It's your attention, where you choose to place it, and your capacity to ask yourself honest questions, even the uncomfortable ones, and then actually listen to the answers. The potential, the masterpiece, is right there waiting inside the stone.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening to chew on this week. We get told so often, don't we? By school, by work, by society maybe, that growth is all about adding more.
More knowledge, more skills, more responsibilities, more possessions, more achievements.
Yeah, pile it on. But what Anne's journey and this whole idea of the sculptor shows is that true growth, real maturity, often comes from the opposite. It comes from the skillful, intentional act of removing what doesn't belong.
Chipping away the excess. The bad habits, the limiting beliefs, the negative patterns, the distractions that drain your energy and pull you off course.
So the question we want to leave you with is this. What's the one thing you could commit to stopping doing starting tonight? What's one layer of that rough, unnecessary stone you could decide to chip away right now?
Because that act of subtraction, that conscious removal, might just be the most powerful step you can take to reveal the stronger, clearer, more authentic version of yourself that's waiting underneath. That's the real art of carving out your purpose.